Happy Friday, Friday the 20th of March of 2026. It's me, your buddy Donnie again, with another Dolly review, and as always, telling it like a TI is. I do not do scripts, heavy editing, or I don't have fancy software or know-how or time to make this video of the quality you guys deserve. So I humbly bring you my shooting from the hip, straight one take, top to bottom, whatever happens, happens. We're amongst friends here, I believe. And that is why my videos, as unadorned as they are, the following that I have, I believe, is people who see the earthiness and the organic nature of my humble little videos. So I thank you all for subscribing, for watching, for leaving your comments. I really do try my darnest to bring you quality. Maybe not the highest possible quality, no, but at least I do try to be entertaining. Somebody wrote me, I forgot who, I'm so sorry. Somebody wrote a comment, a public comment, because I also get private emails and messages. Somebody wrote me, Donnie, you're always self-deprecating by talking about your videos that they're rinky dinky or humble and this and that, and it's like, but no, your videos are no less than others. What you have to understand is that different people have different life circumstances, different abilities, different virtues, different defects, and don't put yourself down. And it's not that I'm putting myself down, it's just that I keeps it real, honey. I keeps it real. But anyways, this person commented publicly that my videos were endearing because they're such low quality. I mean, if I showed you, I would need to another phone camera to do another video to show you what I'm using for equipment. You'd be laughing your head off if you guys saw my studio. I'm in my room. This is my bed. And what I have for backdrop is a set of brand new bed sheets that I haven't debuted on my bed yet. I just placed these pretty cherries. I just placed them on my bed, put on my dolls, and began my talk. But okay, enough jabber. On to the juice. The juice. Okay. I was going to title this video All About DEE. I was. But then I realized All About DEE is a little lofty considering that there's a lot of information about this doll that I do not have. Okay? But there is also a lot of information that I do have. Some of you may already know or may not know, or, so I thought Donnie's deep dive into DEE, would be a more appropriate term, and also keeping up with the times because this deep cut, or I mean deep dive rather, okay, it's a time that has been recently going around, or at least I've heard it recently, okay, because again, I mentioned this in another video, but I have to make a video specially dedicated on the doll community's lexicon, okay? The words, the terms we use, how we use them, and so on. I really need to get on that. But for that, I want to make it a little more structured, But anyways, back to DEE. So with this deep dive into DEE, let me state some facts that I've already mentioned in other videos, but because it's a deep dive, okay, I might sound a little redundant to some of you. Okay, let's start. DEE Rockers, okay, is her true and only proper name. Why? She has never been called anything other, okay, than DEE. Now, some of you are saying, but wait a minute, Donnie, there has been Christies that use this head mold. Yes, but you see, Christy is a name that has been around for decades and used on many different head molds. In other words, Barbie's default black friend has always been a Christy. There's also been Devon and Nikki, another. But by default, Christy is by default Barbie's black version or black best friend. Okay, now I prefer to call this the DD head mold because, again, that is the first time she has a name to her name, DD. Because, again, there have been dolls that used, let me give you a close up. There have been dolls that have used this head mold before, okay, called Christie's, okay, but again, that's like a traditional sort of grandfathered name. This is the first time that this head mold had her own identity. That's why I'm a little peeved when people call it the Spanish head mold. Again, I'm not offended, but I am peeved, and I'll show you why. You see, the reason why people call this the Spanish head mold is simply because, well, let me refer to this book. This is a completely unsolicited plug of this book by Margot Rana, Collectively Yours. I recommend it. Again, I don't think she knows I exist, but I'm not getting a kickback. This is not promotional. I'm not advertising anything. I'm just using it as a reference. Okay, yeah, Collectively Yours. Um, According to this book, this head mold was manufactured or started appearing on, oh, I dropped my bookmark, which is a plastic record. Anyway, this head mold in a light complexion started appearing in 1982, or was manufactured in 1982 as the Spanish head mold. And again, people call it the Spanish head mold because this is the first time that they've seen this doll. However, this is not entirely true because before or around 1982, this head mold had also been used on a different version of a sensational Malibu Christie. Let me see. Oh, let me find the page. I'm sorry, y'all. I really wish I could edit my. Okay, between 1981 and 1983. Okay, yeah, in 1983, this is Hispanic Barbie. Okay, so in 1983, Hispanic Barbie. Okay, in 1982, Spanish Barbie. So technically, yeah, I can understand why people. Oh, I dropped my other record. People call her the Spanish head mold because this is how she debuted it first in 1982. Okay, now I don't like to call it the Spanish head mold because, again, Spanish is an adjective that refers to anything or anyone from Spain. You see? So it's not offensive. No, I'm not offended. Okay? I'm Latino. Okay? In part Spanish in my heirs. But, anyways, so no, it's not offensive. Okay? At least I don't take it as an offense. Okay? That this head mold be called the Spanish head mold. It's just simply not accurate. And like I just said a minute ago, I prefer calling her Didi because as Didi, oh, I'm gonna talk about her as Didi. Coincidentally, and not coincidentally, but it was very shrewd of Mattel to use the Didi head mold, okay, for black and Latina looking dolls. Why? It was very simple. Okay, this doll, the Didi head mold, um, her nose, her bone structure, her lips are classical African features. She looks like a black woman, but with a lighter skin toned, she looks like a Latina. Why? Because Latinos, we are such a thorough blend of bloods and ethnicities that I don't even races rather. I don't even know what Latinos, and I'm one of them. Um, we should be called an ethnicity, a race, a nationality. Well, no, nationality, no, because nationality is specifically of one country. Okay, but again, it was very shrewd of Mattel to kill two birds with one stone by using the same head mold for Latinas and black dolls. Okay, shrewd, because Mattel is a business after all. So I ain't mad at them. I'm not mad at them. Because after all, Latinos, our Latin women can look like this, but our Latin women can also look like this. Okay? Because again, we are such a thorough blend of bloods that what does a Latino look like? Well, I look Latino because um, I'm a brown boy, like brown, but I have brown eyes, black hair, and full lips, and my nose is, well, again, I look Latino. I could never pass for any other ethnicity. Although I've been pegged for Italian at times until I open my mouth. But anyways, so this is why the origins. Now, again, I wish I had more information. Like, for instance, I don't know who the sculptor was for this face. I really don't know. And but let's get back to DD. Okay, um, a couple of days ago, I made a very thorough review video on this 40th anniversary reissued version of DD Rockers. So I'm not gonna bore you with talking about her because, well, again, I already made a very thorough video. However, there is something that I could not do in that previous video, which is compare the boxes. And I will get to that rather quickly. In this reissue, I mentioned that the box is very, very sturdy. Okay. I guess because some collectors can just leave the doll in the box intact. So it serves also as a display box. Okay. And, but this is really Dee Dee's original package from 1986. Looking at the dimensions, yeah, the plastic is, softer than this. You can actually knock on. And the cardboard of her box is, of course, softer than this that you can knock on and make sound. I brought this doll out along with my mint DDs to show you the differences because, again, this is a deep dive into DD, right? Okay. I feel that this reissue could have been made, even though they were very faithful to Dee Dee's original look and box. They had to make a few, changes here and there, and that's fine. But I feel that they could have just done the box in the same dimensions. You see how much larger, how much wider the box is? This is unnecessary plastic and cardboard. They could have made it like this thin. Even then, I always felt that the Rockers boxes were, rather big. So, again, look, it's wider. I mean, deeper, I guess, if you go from front to back. It's also, the box is taller. See, it's a taller box. It's taller, okay? And, again, it's truly wider. Is wider. So all of that excessive cardboard is expense that is passed on to us, the buyers. So again, dear Mattel, for your next reissue, stick to the script even more, okay? By making the boxes smaller. They don't need to be this big and bulky because again, it's really not necessary. Okay, now I've said all I can say about this box, other than the difference here that the original DDs showed the 5 original members of the band. And I say the 5 original members because this picture does not include Ken, who was added to the band the year after. Okay, so now you've seen the boxes. Okay, so let me put this aside. Okay. Now, another difference that, and this is the last difference that I'm going to mention, is that the gold on her blouse is printed on. Okay. However, in the original DD, her top, the gold was, as you can see in this version, embroidered. This is actual golden thread, okay, that is going down her blouse in vertical lines. And here, you might not be able to tell on the camera, but see, these are variations in the boxes and in the dolls, and you'll see all the differences. Okay, like, again, the top here, this is clearly the first batch of DDs. How do I know that this is the first batch? Very simple. Think about it. The first batch is obviously the most polished. Okay, they have rainbow graphics. Okay, the doll inside, you can even her liner is not just one solid color, but it has a white arrow and it has segments of green and black. Okay, and the doll herself also looks a little different than later batches. Okay, now why do I know this? I'm just speculating. Okay, so please don't take my word for this. This is just my speculation. You see, this Didi, the first batch, her earrings are include dangling parts molded after Pink and Pretty Barbie earrings. Okay, I guess they ran out. So in the subsequent batches, they started using these ribbed posts. I mean dangles. Okay, that were originally used for Black and Hispanica Barbie from 1980. Now, another reason that makes me think this is a first batch and this a second batch is the earrings. You can see the earrings is just, one piece of orange plastic. But here, you can tell that is a folded piece, more material to use. So as these dolls were selling, okay, the next batch they decided to like cut corners a little bit. Okay, we don't have to use this much plastic for the earrings, so let's just do a single stripe. Get it? Now, different batches, again, is not only because of cutting corners in terms of money, but also is because these dolls were obviously not made in the same factory. Okay, this one has a pretty bright coloring. However, this batch, oh my god, her makeup, it really pops. It's like brighter. Her lipstick. And also, if you notice, this batch of DDs is of a darker skin hue than this one. It's not abysmally different, but it is. She is darker. She is darker than this one. Okay, and again, they ran out of one plastic. Okay, they tweeted, just another, plastic. Now another difference, and I'm sorry, I'm not unboxing these, but I will show you other dolls. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not unboxing these, but because they are mint and these aren't my treasures. Okay, but I know for a fact because I haven't unboxed this before. Her hair is much longer and fuller, whereas this other batch you can clearly see is shorter and not as full as this. So they're cutting corners. They're getting cheap. Okay. The liner, again, instead of all these elaborate arrow with the no, they just said, okay, just put a solid, because it's cheaper, obviously, to do one solid color for the liner than to do this. Remember, this is 1985. Okay, technology for printing is not what it is today. So again, all of this to produce this, okay, as primitive as it may look to some people, trust me, this was a major undertaking. Okay, again, the colors of making this fade effect of a multicolor, like rainbow spots like this, you know. Obviously it took more doing than simply solid pink, solid yellow, solid pink, solid yellow, solid orange. Okay, so that's another difference. And those are pretty much the only differences that occur on these two batches of DDs. Okay, now, and of course, that here, your own special iron-on decal inside, it's a small circle. But by subsequent batches, they decided to make it splashier, to really hammer us over the head with the fact that, hey, your own special iron-on decal. So this is more, I don't want to say alarming, but this is certainly more eye-catching than this teeny tiny smaller. And you know what? Maybe also because the text, it kind of gets lost in the multicolor effect. So here it's a more straightforward black letters on a white, I'm sorry, on a yellow background with orange borders and white. So it's easier to, it's more eye catching. Okay, so these are the two. Now, these are not the only two different batches of DDs. Okay, believe me, because I've seen them, but I can't have them all. I wish I did, but I can't have all the variations. I cannot. Like, for instance, sometimes you will see this doll with the lighter complexion, these earrings and so on, but with an orange liner. Again, it's not a variation. I don't believe it's a variation in terms of design that, okay, now let's make it. No, no, no. I honestly think that it's just a production issue where, okay, they ran out of yellow liners, put them in orange liner. But let's get these dolls out. Because remember, doll factories have to meet production deadlines. Because again, the toy industry is very fickle, okay? And what is hot today may not be hot tomorrow, okay? So the poor workers, yes, poor workers, okay, because they got paid not what they deserved. They really had to chop, okay, to get these dolls out. Make them out, produce them and out. Okay, now on the back, the side of the box, again, also different because no more rainbow effect, just solid colors, which makes it, again, a little more straightforward, and it's probably cheaper to do this than this effect of the bleeding colors. Okay, the side, same thing. Okay, now, that is, but of course, the contents is the same. Still the multicolored plush and the orange t-shirt with the Rockers decal and the green star with red letters. The multicolored tights, the black the black pleather mini skirt, okay, and of course the beautiful bangles. Those orange jelly bracelets, which I love. I love, 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 love. So that takes care of these two unboxed. I mean, yeah, unboxed dolls. Let me put them away over her for a minute. And oh no, don't fall. No, 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 no. Oh no, my DDs are not gonna hit the floor. Oh heavens, no, 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 no. Perish the thought. I'm going to show you on this book from Margot Rana the page where she talks about Barbie and the Rockers. Okay. Okay, let me read to you the DD part. Barbie and the Rockers DD doll has the soul that takes the group to gold. Her chartreuse top practically covers her black leatherette miniskirt. Her leggings have all the primary colors that are used throughout the Rockers theme, pulling the look together. Very true. Her hair ribbon is laced just like Dana dolls, also, orange lace in her hair. Each of their faux fur headpieces is the same color as their pants or leggings. DD has the same accessory pieces that come with the other rockers. The doll in this photo was made in the Philippines. Yeah, this is the one from the first batch. See, yeah, this must have been made in the Philippines. This one, actually, this one says made in Taiwan. Yep, this one was made in Taiwan. This is, well, okay, doll and custom made in China, iron on decal made in Taiwan, balance made in Hong Kong. Okay, so this doll was, well, this one was made in China. Okay, this one in the Philippines. Yeah, this one is from the Philippines. So in the Philippines, they opted for a more I don't want to say faded, but more softer watercolor type of makeup as opposed to the Taiwan, okay, which is brighter makeup. As a matter of fact, it's even different because if you notice here, her makeup is purple with a lighter shade of lavender or maybe like silvery, okay, whereas this one is still purple but with a pink, okay, and yes, her eyes pop, just her whole makeup, her lipstick, oh, it's gorgeous, gorgeous. And also the hair, you might not be able to tell from the pictures, but the hair again, it's significantly shorter and less full, not fuller, but less full than this Philippines version. I love them both. Don't get me wrong. I love them both because, well, I'm crazy about DD. Now, more about DD. I'm going on here. So, okay. So, let me put this book away. Now, I'm going to show you something that is a bit of a sour note. And oh boy, here comes Donnie again crying racism. No, it's not me crying racism. It's just that some things just jump at me. Okay, in uh, in the United States, Barbie and the Rockers were called that, Barbie and the Rockers. But for some marketing reason or research, or I don't want to say racist, but in Europe they were Barbie and the Rock Stars. Okay, they were not the Rockers. They were rock stars. Again, I don't understand, why they did that. Excuse me, but they did. Now, this is the sour note. Here we have the same outfits as here. However, here you see depicted all five rockers. Okay, well, Barbie twice because she's the lead doll of the line. Okay, so you see Barbie, Diva, Dana, Derek, and Dee. Okay, same for this second batch. Okay, Dana, Barbie, Diva, Derek, another Barbie, and Dee. Okay, however, for the European market, they only have Barbies. None of her ethnic girlfriends are modeling the outfits. Why? Again, I don't know. There are plenty of black people in Europe. But again, I don't know. Again, there's a lot I don't know. Excuse me. So I can't very well call this all about Didi. But I'm giving you enough info, that I know to be true and, well, draw your own conclusions. And another little factoid is that here, when they had Derek modeling his outfit, notice he has the beach straight arms instead of the superstar era bent arms. What's that about? Whatever. Now, oh, something else before I continue on with the fashions. The illustration, I'm sorry, the back of the box of all Philippines or Taiwan made Barbie rocker dolls, they have this picture of the prototypes. Okay, and these are the production samples, I would imagine, because they don't look identical to the production dolls. Okay, and you can see the subtle differences, but you know, whatever. Now, I don't have that in my hands right now, but I do know that in the Barbie and the Rock Stars dolls for the European market, they only showed Barbie, Derek, and Diva. No Dana and no Dee. Again, draw your own conclusions. I don't know why they did that. But anyhow, now on to the fashions. I'm gonna need a hand here. Now, I made a video, a very thorough video, yes, on this version of DD Rockers, okay, which is the second generation of Barbie and the Rockers. So I'm not gonna get into her because I made another video where I'm very thorough, where I went over her and her variations from Taiwan and Philippines with a fine tooth comb. So I'm not gonna get into her right now. Now, again, the fashions. Here are the two fashions that Dee wore, not here, but here. I love these two. And this is not an unboxing, is more of an unzipping. Come here, sweetheart. I love Dee Dee, y'all. I love her. I love her so much. I don't know, or maybe, yeah. What is about 80s dolls? Well, yeah, they were my childhood, but is the dolls, the rockers themselves. Okay. Now, here, this is actually a second generation DD rockers, okay, that I have modeling. Her original outfit, this is how she came. But I redressed her to